Welcome back to Soulstring. So the other day, I was chatting with the really nice people at Overloud, and they asked me if I wanted to test out the new TH-U Marty Friedman amp plugin. And I said, hell yeah, let's do it. Although I don't really want to spend too much time looking at the actual interface, because those of you that are familiar with the TH-U Overloud, it is an incredibly simple interface. It's really easy to use, very easy to navigate for me, except for the fact that it's one of the best sounding amp sims out there, but it's also, in terms of how it's laid out, one of the most logical, and it's an incredibly easy product to get. When you download the Marty Friedman pack, you can get it either as an add-on to your existing TH-U software, or if you don't have an existing TH-U software and you don't really want it, but you just want the Marty Friedman stuff, bam, you can get it by itself as a standalone, or you can use it in your DAW. You can just purchase the Marty Friedman amps with the effects and all the gear that's included in that. So that's a really cool thing. So once you download it, it will appear in your banks. In your banks, as you can see, you have some very, very cool presets. You have 15 Marty Friedman approved presets. And just before we start listening to some of the sounds here, just important, I think, for those of you guys that maybe aren't that familiar or only know Marty because of his time in Megadeth, certainly that was, for many people, the highlight of his career. But Marty is an incredibly experimental player, not just in the kind of choices he made on the fretboard, but also in terms of sound. So obviously he's a rock player, but he also does a lot of ambient stuff. He also likes some acoustic stuff. His work, especially in Japan, has become very, very diverse. And so that's important to remember, and that is clearly reflected as well in this software. So very cool. As I said, you have 15 presets, and let me just say, unlike most of those inexpensive modeling units that you can get on the floor and stuff, these are proper presets. These are Marty approved presets, and these are really good. They didn't add everything in the kitchen sink in it. They didn't add tons of effects that you don't need. They sound really good. But as usual, if we just run through it with the TH-U stuff, you start like a signal chain, and going to the right, you eventually have your cab, post effects, pre-effects, and you can slot everything in where you want it. So very nice and simple. So with the Marty Friedman collection, you get a total of 4 different amps, which is really, really cool. And it goes from really clean to obviously very heavy. So you've got a clean, a crunch amp, a lead amp, and the Marty Friedman Tornado, which is all balls out, right? So very, very cool. You get a number of cabs as well that he uses, and a number of effects as well. So you've got chorus, reverb, delay mainly, a compressor, a very good compressor actually, all the stuff that he uses. So they didn't, go overboard with it. They literally just replicated his entire rig. So that's really cool to see. So let's stop talking and get to some sounds. You know what? Let's get it out of the way, because that's, I guess, the first thing people are going to ask. And you know what? It's boring, but that's all I'm going to play. But the first one I think we just need to quickly talk about without playing any more Megadeth is Symphony. So this uses his Tornado amp with a cabinet and simply his delay pedal. I'm not the master chugger here. That's a taller Swedish chap, but I think it sounds really good. Okay, so that sounded really chuggy, lots of low end, quite similar to the recorded version of that song. Really good start. Let's now move on to another random preset. Let's go with modern expressive. There we go. What do we have here? We've got a compressor with the level dimed, basically. That's pretty cool. Then we have the Marty Friedman Devil amp this time. So it's a lead amp, gain more or less there. We've got a nice mid bump in the middle. Then we have Marty's 4x12 cab with a single mic. You can obviously change the microphones as you wish, but I'm just going with the standard presets. And then we have a little bit of delay and reverb pedal at the end of the chain. So let's see what that sounds like. For the rhythm tracks, I guess it would cut pretty well in the mix. The compressor is definitely giving it that like extra little hit in the front end. Nice sustain, really nice. Let's move on to another one I actually tried earlier on and I really liked, because this kind of shows exactly what I was referring to at the beginning of the intro. It's a very versatile amp sim, and this one, slightly lower gain. We are using the Devil amp, but slightly lower. It's a crunch amp with Marty Friedman's cabinet. Look again at the mic positions. Really cool that you can do this. Just a delay and reverb as usual, but up front we have a noise gate. So very cool. So this one for me is one of the best presets there is. What I really like about this one is that it is still very modern sounding, but it's also kind of slightly crunchier. It's slightly more of a almost bluesy vibe to it. And I really like it because obviously Marty is not traditionally known as a sort of pentatonic blues player at all. But it's really cool because you can get that with this amp. Finally, guys, the last one I wanted to show you, just because it's so out there and it really represents this plugin again and the almost unlimited possibilities you could have with this plugin, is the number 12 Tibet presets. What you've got is no amp, no cab, you're just going straight. And what you have is the Marty Friedman Eternity rack multi-effect with chorus, delay, reverb. Really, really cool. Very hard to find. Then you simply have another rack underneath, which is the compressor. But literally, that's it. Then at the end, he just puts a nice 7-band EQ just to fix around the levels. And what you get is incredibly surprising. So when obviously I first played this preset, I thought, hang on, where's all the rest? But no, it's literally just this. And that's exactly the reason I wanted to show you, because it is incredible. Really, really love this preset. Absolutely incredible. And I can actually see myself using this on a lot of tracks. I mean, I really like it. Can do quite a, wide range of sounds with this one. So let's finish this video off just by having a little think about this plugin and maybe drawing up some conclusions. I think Marty Friedman's one of the most talented guitar players we've seen in this generation. I think his time with Megadeth has been, by all accounts, kind of the creative high of Megadeth's career so far. The way he inspired through his solos the band to reach kind of a different dimension, I think is unparalleled till today. I mean, Kiko's a wonderful player, but I think what Marty had was something fantastic. But overall, I think, he proved that he has so much more to give. He had the balls to, kind of change direction, go to Japan, try different things. So really, I admire the guy very much. Now, in terms of the plugin itself, I think it's an amazing product. And I'm not saying this lightly. I actually think it's a really, really good product. I mean, yes, the guys at Overloud sent it across for me to check out, but quite frankly, I would actually buy this and I would use this in my studio. I think this is a really good plugin. It's relatively affordable. I think it's just $150, something like that, as a standalone. Obviously, if you're upgrading, it's a lot less, but it's really, really good simply because I think it actually accurately reflects Marty in a very articulate way, in a very complex way throughout his career and also throughout the things that he's doing now. But the most important thing for me, it's not gimmicky and it's not just imitating his sound. You can actually use this. I can see myself using this. And I'm not trying to kind of compare this to another plugin that I reviewed a few weeks ago by another well-known guitarist, where I said it was essentially just trying to get that one tone and I couldn't see myself doing anything else with that. This here is literally just wide enough and complex enough to give you lots of possibilities to actually make it your own and put your own imprint on it, put your own sound on it. And obviously it's slightly leaning on the metal side, but if you're a rock player, if you like some slightly more ambient stuff, it's got that in there as well. So I think as an all-in-one, it's an amazing plugin, even if you don't know who Marty Friedman is. And I think that's the testament of a really good Star endorsed plugin. That, you know what, take the Star name out of it. What do you have left? In this case, a really good plugin. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed those sound samples. And I really want to know if you guys have tried it, what you think. If you're a Marty Friedman fan, how cool is this, huh? You can get that symphony tone. So please let me know what you think. Share, like, do all the things you want to do. And most importantly, keep playing guitar, rock on, and be nice to each other, everyone. Please. See ya.